I will be talking about Eichi tenshouin because that is the boy. And where are my markers? I will of course be using a teal marker because that is the boy's color. And I don't like looking at the camera very much, it seems, but I will work around that. So to begin with, H is it's sort of drawn there. You kind of can see it. He is the main antagonist of Ensemble Stars that goes from 2015 to 2019, 2020, as that is the first iteration of the game Ensemble Stars. That is a character raising game. It's a type of character collector game from Japan. It's a genre that exists. It's mainly focused around raising pretty boys. There are also games that raise pretty girls. And when I say raise, I mean obviously leveling up cards and such things. Leveling up cards, skills, usually multiple cards. Some games are specifically tied around these characters as a single unit, but that is not the case here. They have multiple cards and multiple rarities, which is usually today known as gacha. And you might even think about Genshin Impact, which is the most popular form of this game. However, that is an open world 3D animated game, which is vastly different from what we're talking about. So, Eichi tenshouin being my favorite best boy, he started a war. That is no better way of putting that he did start a war. He did start a war pertaining to the state of the idol industry as seen inside the Yumenosaki Academy, because Yumenosaki Academy Gakuen, as I'm going to refer to it as Yumenosaki Gakuen from now on, so I don't have to switch languages all the time. The Yumenosaki Gakuen is basically an idol training school. We're talking about the idol industry here, not in its perfectly realistic state as you might see from now on, but it is definitely up there in the realistic, in like when you think of anime media that shows idol industry, and Stars is there as one of the most, not necessarily grounded ones, but the ones that show the most negativities. You might even think of it as it being that. So Eichi tenshouin is an extremely frail character, as in his constitution. He was born with an unspecified chronic illness that basically led him to having a life of being told that he was going to die in a few months. This obviously has led to extreme different levels of trauma, and obviously he used to think that he dreamed of being an idol. He always loved idols, and so eventually when he gets to Yumenosaki Gakuen, he wants to change the state of the school that is in extreme disrepair. Basically, units all have an allocated fixated budget, and no matter, usually the bigger the unit is, the more money they get. I think that was the original plan. And the students weren't very required to do much work. They just had to sit there and take the money, basically. And that obviously led to a lot of complacency and general a decrease in quality in the idols that Yumenosaki Gakuen put out. So Eichi, being the person that he is, loving idols very much and having the sense of urgency that like he doesn't have enough time to be an idol to make the idol industry better, he decides to put on this plan to make Yumenosaki Gakuen a better place again. This sounds like I'm talking about Make America Great Again. I'm sorry about that. But I should also explain that along with being a weak as fuck bitch, he is also rich. And that rhymed. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. You see, He is the heir to the tenshouin Zaibatsu, which is the tenshouin conglomerate. I cannot remember right now the extent of that. Of like, I cannot give you examples on how much they own, but for example, his school, his family has funded the Yumenosaki school, a little bit. I'm just going to say, and a little bit. My bad about that. And his mom has a hobby of collecting, owning space aircrafts, which is not a fact that I remember when I want to thank Rebs for that, because it has brought me so much joy thinking about that, to the same extent that I often think about Yuzudo and Ibara being child soldiers, which is not, I'm not gonna get into that today, because this is just about Eichi. I'm looking at the PowerPoint presentation that I made so many months ago. You see, he so he wasn't alone in doing this whole revolution thing. He obviously had the help of his best childhood friend, Hasumi Keito. He man, what did I say about this one? He's a gay ass. Well, they're all gay. But Keito has a thing of being really like, I am H's right hand. Except H is left-handed, so aren't you useless? Or like less useful than you really. I think that's a really great metaphor on how like their relationship works. Because H doesn't want Keito to be that way to him. He wants a friend, and so obviously they work together. They did do the whole revolution thing. But oftentimes H talked about not wanting to sacrifice Keito or not wanting to bring him into this bloody path. They do refer to the war, which was mostly psychological and social in nature, as a real actual war. So battlefield, blood, blah blah blah. They are idols. Come on, man. But so Eichi has talked about not wanting to involve Keito in this bloodbath, but Keito really fucking likes Eichi, so he's like, I will do whatever the hell I want for you. Moi. But yes, so you have basically 2 first years in Yumenosaki Gakuen planning a revolution, and one of them is very, very powerful, and they're both really big nerds. So it actually works out. You see, Eichi ends up meeting someone called Aoba Tsumugi, who is also a first year. A second year. They are all second years at this point in the school, and they all get Tsumugi. Well, to begin with, Eichi has this idea of the oddballs. They are based around the 3 founding deities of Japan. So we have Tsukinogi, the god of the moon. We have Susanoo, the god of the seas, the deity of the seas, and we have Amaterasu, the goddess deity of the sun, said to have discovered feudal Japan, if I'm remembering it correctly. This is off from the top of my head because the brain rot is really that big. So these 3 were supposed to be big, talented members of the school, who could be put in an antagonistic position as having too much talent and basically stealing the jobs of others. So we had in there, as Tsukinogi, the god of the moon, we had Sakuma, who is an extremely talented individual, as they all are, but he is a vampire. I'm not gonna get into that, you're just gonna think about it now, but he's my baby also. We also have, for Susanoo, Shinkai Kanata, a boy who was raised as a deity to be consumed by his cult. Not also gonna talk about that. And then we have Amaterasu, who is Hibiki Wataru. He is an extremely talented performer and actor and singer and dancer, and his hair is sentient and he can hypnotize people, and he walks 15 meters on water. I don't know what is up with this game. I love it so much. But so Eichi didn't think these 3 individuals were going to be enough, so he basically was like talking to Tsumugi over this and being like, I kind of want 5. I think it would be better if it were 5. Maybe it would, I don't know. I imagine that he thought that it would distribute the hate a little bit better. Not going any better, honestly, considering that these people were all innocent. They were just being talented. They didn't really want to be born like, I am going to piss everyone off. Okay, Wataru maybe would. Actually, Wataru's whole thing is being loved, so I'm not gonna go into that. Too much character drama for me to really focus on. I'm just trying to talk about Eichi, and I've already mentioned like 5 names. So Tsumugi was like, hey, I kind of have an idea. Eichi already had thought of Itsuki, who is an extremely talented, again, craftsman person. I want to talk about their genders a little bit. He really likes dolls. He really likes clothes. He makes clothes for his dolls. I think that's a kind of obvious jump there. Not even a jump, it's like a walk. And he was like, I need a 5th person. And Tsumugi thought it was a really good idea. Maybe he didn't understand it fully at the time, or he didn't think of the extent of the effect that this would have. But Tsumugi went, hey, how about my childhood acquaintance, Sakasaki Natsume, who is really into the occult and is also an apprentice of Hibiki Wataru. And he was like, well, he is a 1st year, but that does put like an extra weight on him being in the 5 oddballs. This group of individuals, I don't know if I've mentioned, would be known as the 5, wow, my god, that's a 5. The 5 oddballs. And or Gokijin, as it is in Japanese. I tend to refer to them as Gokijin rather than 5 oddballs because it is shorter and I like speaking Japanese when I can. So, as you might imagine, there's a bird outside, I was looking at it. As you might imagine, things went to shit the moment this the whole lazy ass student body started to blame them not getting jobs and not becoming proper idols on, rather than blame it on their lack of inability, obviously blame it on, you know, the talented, like, not even hard, I wouldn't say necessarily hard working, but passionate students, fellow classmates that they had. So they started being collectively hated by the school, and Eichi's unit with Tsumugi, at this point known as, well, Fine, later known as X-Fine, we're gonna get to that. This unit, Fine, and Akatsuki, which would be Keito's unit with one Kiryu Kuro and Kanzaki Soma, who is a 1st year. Woo! At this point, he's a 1st year, later he's a 2nd year, duh. They would parade, they would basically invite, after, well, I better talk about the changes first. Basically, what Eichi did after becoming the student council president was changes so all units had to have at least 2 members and at most 5 members. There is a single exception to this, and I will not talk about him in this video, but shout out to you, mama. But basically, what happens is that I am so sick of myself talking that I keep losing my fucking trail of thought. So they would, well, the Dream Fest system, right? So he made 5 units. He made it so units would have at most 5 members, which fucked over basically 2 big units, which are Ryuseitai and Ophelio, or Chess as it was known at the time. Usually it's known, today it's known as Knights. And basically made it like, you want a budget, you have to work for it. So obviously you had work, but you also had your grades, because you know this is a school still. So you would have now battles known as Dream Idol Festivals, I think they were called at the time, short Dream Fest or Dream Fest. They would basically raise your grade. Like, you can get a better grade by grading the units that are participating using pen-like colors and stuff. There's a whole thing in the anime and the main story that I'm not gonna talk about. And you obviously got graded, you got better grades, your status as a unit was raised by being in a bunch of these Dream Fests. They have ranks, I'm not gonna talk about the ranks, but basically, Fine and Akatsuki started using the system to go after the 5 Gokijin, their units. So we had Shu go first, his unit Valkyrie. I'm not gonna go because these are whole events in this story. Like, Meteor Impact, which is about Shinkai Kanata, it is over 30 chapters. I'm not going to talk about that. But he went after Itsuki Shu first, their until then known as the Sovereign of Yuminosaki. Which he wasn't bad just because he was the sovereign. He was just the most passionate and the most hardworking. He's the most. I would say that he was the most actively hardworking member of the Gokijin. So he went first. He was killed first. And then he even goes on a rant to say, please tell our most precious little boy, referring to Natsume, to stay away from tenshouin Eichi. Fucking love that. God. Anyway, after Shu, pretty sure Kanata went after that. Kanata and Chiaki, at this point they were already buddies. Like I said, 30 chapters. I'm not gonna talk about it. Shit. After that, who the fuck went after that? Oh yeah, Akatsuki fought. Akatsuki ended up fighting Kanata. Kanata's unit, Ryusei, at the time he joined more like out of nowhere with Chiaki. They were like, at this point, they were like the very few members left of this unit because of the whole thing that happened. This was all planned, the law of Eichi. So after that, I'm pretty sure like you might realize that we are missing 3 members. You see, Sakuma, no, oh my god, my eye. Sakuma, known as my vampire baby boy, he was going around, basically Eichi, as he was the most famous, talented, and liked member of the Gokijin, I'm pretty sure, like, it's mentioned for the most part of the war that he's liked by a bunch of people that aren't the students, so I would imagine he's the most troublesome to take care of. Eichi made it so that he would, he has a thing for helping people everywhere. It's a part of his character arc. He would go around helping the sister schools of Yuminosaki across the globe while looking for a cure for his chronic illness, which is his vampirism. It's referred, like, it is a metaphor, an allegory to vampirism, but it is seen in the N-Stars universe as a real disease, as a condition of the Sakuma family that does affect them greatly. It makes them want blood for sustenance. It makes them have a hard time staying awake and be extremely lethargic during the day. So, you know, it's troublesome. He wanted this cure not for himself, but for his younger brother, whom he loves so fucking much. My god. And so, I lost my train of thought again. So Eichi made it so that he would basically have to go around helping these schools while looking for this cure. He was sort of doing that on the side. And so he would be too busy to come back to Yuminosaki while this war was happening. And you see, Knights, Chess, Ophelio was affiliated with Eichi at this point because their leaders were buddies. I love them. And not that, I don't know if Leo knew about the whole war thing. Like, if he was like, I'm gonna kill everyone, you know. He's just a guy. He just likes people and he helps his friends. You know, I love him. He's so sweet. Anyway, so at this point, Knights is affiliated with Fine and Akatsuki, which means they do go around battling everyone on stage. And, like, people who didn't win were taken out of the school, were like expelled, were forced to leave either through these circumstances, literally expulsion, or they were bullied enough to leave, or they were bullied enough to commit suicide. That is a thing that happens in this story. So there were actual lives lost to this whole thing. And you know, this put a lot of stress on the members of the war, like the front line, I guess. I don't know war terms. Including Ditsu, who is a part of Knights at this point, and he's like, "Where the fuck is my brother?" And your brother is off helping other people apparently. Abandonment issues. Ditsu really doesn't like Rei very much after that, which is a lie. He does like Rei very much. He just felt hurt and betrayed. Why am I getting to this? Basically, Rei was busy during the war, and so he couldn't be there to help his friends, to fight in during the Dream Fest, because he would have his laid. We all know this. And so he's taken care of. He would only come back after the final fight is about to, when the final fight is about to happen. So this final fight being Wataru. Where is Natsume, you might ask, if you even remember the names at this point, unless you're my friends watching. Hi, I'm gonna send this to you. He is the first year among all of these second years, and Rei is a third year. He repeats. He falls back. I don't know how you say it in English. He is a first year, and he's like kind of their younger brother. Like, not officially. I'm just saying that this is my interpretation of their relationship. If someone ships one of the oddballs with Natsume, I don't really care. Except, I mean, Shunatsu is fine. I'm not gonna enter that conversation. So they wanted to protect Natsume, basically, is what I'm trying to say. The light really is hitting there, huh? Give me a second. But then isn't my face gonna be green? No, it isn't. Alright, that's fine. You can see. Oh, you could see me go over there, couldn't you? I don't know. Probably not. Anyway, distraction. Basically, Natsume was not happy with this whole protect me thing. He had plans like, I have a way for you to defeat Fine and for you to win finally and stuff. Like, you don't have to do this. Because, you know, like I said, people who lose get bullied a fuck ton. Some people, you know, some people left the school on their terms or not on their terms, you know. So, the final fight is against Wataru. I might not have said this at this point, but it is very well accepted in fandom that Eichi is in love with Wataru. This is sort of clear in canon, sort of not. You know how it is with Japanese. It's not a BL boys love franchise, so we're not gonna get confirmation on that very well. Even though we do have a trans girl. Goes off of the camera for a little bit. I am really losing my trail here. So at this moment in time, as I said, Wataru is a performer. He's wow. He thought, well, he wants to play the villain role. He thinks it's going to be easier that way, I imagine. Like, this is the way to finish this all with less bloodshed. And he did plan to join Fine after everything was done and over with. Because, like, we do say that Eichi, like, the real canon explanation is that Eichi wanted to change the idol industry, but there was also, like, I will get good enough at being an idol so I can stand side by side with you, Hibiki-kun. Anyway, so there is a little bit of an underlying, like, but are they gonna be together after that? Maybe. I think they're sort of married now. You know, meet my boyfriend and his boyfriend kind of deal. Where is my razor? Okay, so listen. Great, this isn't going to come off. My Eichi brain rod is going to be here forever now. I need a fucking tissue. Rich! I am so sorry for my friends who will watch me be an idiot on screen. I don't even know if you guys are listening to me properly. That's a point that I didn't think about. Anyway. Yeah, Wataru loses and all that. You see, the point of that one particular event isn't exactly that fight, though that fight is interesting. It's more about Eichi and Tsumugi, as Tsumugi was just genuinely a friend to Eichi. Well, Eichi was just genuinely a friend to Tsumugi, but to Eichi, Tsumugi was someone who wanted to settle the debt of his mother and was after Eichi for money. He is a rich hair boy who has a weak constitution. I would understand why he would have some reservations about making friends or just expect that everyone around him wants his money. Probably because this has happened before, except for Kato, obviously, who would be like, who fucking wants your money? So Tsumugi ended up realizing that alongside, here I go again, Nagi-saran and Tomoe Hiyori. Nagi-saran and Hiyori Tomoe, sorry for fucking up the Japanese name order there. He would come to realize that the unit he's in has a time limit, which is that final fight, and that after that they will all go their separate ways. They're not friends. They, especially between Nagisa and Hiyori and Tsumugi and Eichi, there's a divide there. Furthermore, I'm going to say that instead of saying the Portuguese word. They leave the school after that, Nagisa and Hiyori. So, like, that divide is pretty clear on that end. And Tsugi's like, wait, but I thought we were friends. And Eichi was like, weren't you here just for my money? And he was like, no! And Wataru comes in with his mask of villain clad in his beautiful, beautiful face, and he says, oh, you were the biggest clown around. You didn't know? And it fucking hurts. It's a punch to the gut to everyone who is seeing, and obviously to Tsumugi himself. This final fight, Wataru is, funnily enough, he's like the main character of the fight alongside Eichi, but Wataru is unfortunately like sort of in the background because it is basically about Eichi realizing that he fucked up. They even tells him that he trampled to death the people who could have been his friends. And this is obviously about the whole contract, not just Tsumugi, but about Hiyori and Nagisa as well. There is that relationship later. It's about their character. But yeah, so we have moments here in which Eichi is thinking like maybe we should have gone really to karaoke and to eat fast food like you had mentioned, Tsumugi. Maybe we should have been normal high schoolers instead of doing this whole war thing. Maybe I wasted my friendship with you. And Tsumugi's whole thing, I think he's so much in shock that his only response is, I'm going to follow the contract. I won't talk to you during the shows anymore. Like, because they do that. They are singing, but they're having eye contact conversations. This is a thing. I'm talking real conversations by eye. And Tsumugi goes, I won't talk to you anymore during the show. I'm sorry. I know this is in our contract. I won't breach that anymore. And it's a little sad between them for a while. I think they do make amends after. Tsumugi is a pathetic wet dog of a man. He gets stepped on a lot. So yeah, like they do eventually get on better terms, but I'm sure that there is an event story where, can you hear me? I'm capping this. I know it's annoying, but it helps me. I'm sure there is an event story in which they eventually go back to actually talk about what happened. Please. You see, I haven't read much. I read the basic war storyline and then I didn't read any after that because Burnout, and also there were stories that didn't have my best boy in it, so like I'm not interested. But I am more right now. I just don't have time. Like I have to record a video after this, and this is already 30 minutes long. My God. Absolutely in love with idols and being an idol. Alright, he in the new era and stars, he's the president of his own agency, which Yume no Saki students can automatically enter this agency, as well as if they get all their offers they can go there. He's the president of Star Maker, short short term would be Star Pro or Suta Pro. No, not that. Star Pro. Yeah. And my Dio note in the slide is that he likes burger. I love him so much. And also he really likes tea. And also he is the average height of my boys generally. Like Bofude and Eichi have 179 centimeters, which is so much taller than me. My god, okay, I'm fine. This is over. I have talked about him enough. He likes burger, he likes idol. I didn't even talk about his relationship with the Fine kids. That's going to be for later because like this is 30 minutes long already and I am worried about my actual internship thing considering that I have 1 hour to send it. Bye bye.